Welcome once again to Tea with Lady T podcast / talk show. I am your host, Tibelo Mosese. In this episode, which is going to be solo, I will be talking a little bit about the projects that I am currently involved with. And one of them, I think it's only fair that I actually go deeper into the whole idea of starting the podcast. I know a while ago I did an introduction episode where I mentioned a couple of things, including the work that we do within the organization, Petahazo Foundation, which is an organization that was founded with the aim to address the mental and the emotional well-being of the boy child. So, but before I go deeper into the conversation for today, a solo conversation, of course, I would like to acknowledge the executive hotel, Mana Lodge Executive Hotel, that has allowed us the space to come and do the podcast at their venue. And you are welcome to come through. We actually encourage people to come through, have a look at the venue. It's not so far from Kempton Park. CBD, just off the R21 off ramp. So they have got a whole lot of things that they offer at the venue. It is accommodation, and they've got also facilities for conferencing and a whole lot of things. The thing that I always keep saying is that it doesn't feel like it is in Kempton Park because of the quietness and the serenity of the venue. So apart from that, I'd also like to introduce a few things that we do as a company, because apart from the podcast and also apart from the Petahazo Foundation, I do have few, I would say, businesses or business ideas. Not that rich, but yeah, it is the vision that I have for the company that I am running under Phoenix Teen Holdings. So Phoenix Teen Holdings has got a couple of things that we do within it as an umbrella. So one of those things, I can just maybe start by showing. Oh, it's too far. By showing this package. We are introducing this package for our guests because these are some of the things that we do. It is under the brand Arise Natural Sense. So Arise Natural Sense offers products like the diffusers for houses. We also have car diffusers. We also make candles. So in this package, it is the diffuser and the candle in a jar. And then we also have like your perfumes, men and female perfumes. We also offer products like house mists. They call them house perfumes. Those that you can just spray around the house so that the house smells fresh and smelling good the whole time. So that is one of the things that I wanted to come and share on the podcast. Another thing that is quite new within the organization is the book that will be released in a couple of weeks. I think by the time this show airs, the book will actually be on the shelves. I can promise you that it will be available on Take a Lot and other places. Of course, we will continue sharing that information. But what the book is about is actually represented by this T-shirt that I am wearing. It says spirit, soul, and body. So with the concept of spirit, soul, and body, it actually encompasses everything that we do within the podcast. If some audience or maybe viewers would remember, or even those that are constantly watching the show, you will have realized by now that every time, maybe when we start the podcast, We always check with our guests on their mental wellness, the emotional wellness, their physical wellness, and the spiritual wellness. It's simply because as a human being, we comprise of these three dimensions: the spirit, the soul, and the body. And if one of these areas is lacking, it means you're not functioning to your full capacity or your full potential as a person. Hence, it is important that at all times you try to find balance in those three areas, which is the spirit, the soul, and the body. And how this book came about, it was after I went through a very traumatic experience, which often when I talk about it, I always say that it brought me down to my knees because I couldn't function. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't think properly. There was a moment where I thought I was losing my mind, like literally, I thought I was losing my mind. And I think this is the time where I've always been a spiritual person. I always believed in God. And even when things happen in my life, I always go to my knees and surrender everything to God. But this was a different experience. It was a betrayal that really hurt me. And when I started thinking about it, I ended up having a dream where God was saying to me, return to God. And when I inquired further about the statement, return to God, then he started giving me different revelation with regards to return to God. So in those revelations, one of them was that as human beings, we go through trauma, and it's different type of traumas. Some people can be abused when they are small. Some people can continue being abused. Some can have a life-changing accident. Some of the trauma comes through grief when maybe you lose parents or you lose a loved one and things like that. And God was showing me that all these experiences that we go through, though they might seem like it's physical, but they attack us on the soul level and also on the spiritual level. Making an example, when I was going through this experience of being betrayed by a friend, I think the first thing that I felt much trauma was on the soul level. And obviously it went further to the spiritual level because I kept asking God, like, how can this person do this to me? This is like a sister to me. How can this person do this to me? You know, so then it showed that with trauma can actually change the way that we feel, change the way that we look at the world, change the way that we actually live our lives in the world. Hence, I'm saying it kind of distorts your full functionality as a human being. So that is the one part. Some of the things that you'll probably find in the book, but the main thing is about the identity. Because once our identity is distorted, then it means we are going through life. I don't even know how to explain it as a half person, if there is something like that. But we are not fully ourselves. Hence, we cannot even reach the potential that God has actually ordained for us. So the book is actually about the identity, our own identity as the three-dimensional beings, but also as the identity in the image and the likeness of God. Because if we, especially those who believe in the Bible, we know that God is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So when he says he has made us in his own image and likeness, it means that us as the flesh, the soul, and the spirit, we actually align with him in that regard. So there's a whole lot of things in the book, but probably when the book comes out, it might not come out with this logo, because of the agreement that we have with the publishers, because this is the logo that I designed under the influence of the Holy Spirit. I designed it myself under the influence of the Holy Spirit, because if maybe you could see it like up front, when you look at from far, it looks like it's a woman within the man. But when you come closer, then it's like three other people inside this visible structure. So God was saying to me, in these days that we are living in, there is a lot of division when it comes to the men and the women. There is a fight that is going on between men and women. And he took me to the first three books of the Bible, which is Genesis 1, 2, 3, where it talks about the formation of the earth, the formation of man, and the fall of man. So if you remember, those who are watching, those who read the Bible and believe in the Bible, Adam was created first as the human being. And if you look at the word Adam, I know most people, we know Adam as the man, like the male that was created. But when you look at the word Adam, Adam means earth. It means the ground. So Adam simply means that a human being was made from the ground. And if you read further within chapter 2, we see where Eve is now being taken out of Adam. And this is where now the bigger picture comes in to say there is a woman inside the man. Hence, every single time, even when people get married, there will be this ways to say, what God has formed, let no man separate, or let no man put asunder. It is simply because when God created Adam in the beginning, already in mind, he had a woman and the man in his picture, in his imagination. So there are a whole lot of things, like I'm saying, that they are now becoming like a division in the family structure, the way that God had created it. And the family structure, as we know, it is for a man and a woman to lead the family. And in that manner, because of how they were created, because they were created at the same time, in the mind of God, they were created at the same time. It's just that when it came to the actual formation, Adam came first and then Eve came later on. And now it shows that in the family, a man and a woman have to lead the family equally. And now, unfortunately, as we progress in life, and then there are things that are put in place, the systems and all that are put in place, we see things shifting from the original plan of God. And after they were created and put in the Garden of Eden, God said to them, you will subdue, you will dominate, and you will rule over the creation. Meaning that both of them were supposed to be aligned and they were supposed to be ruling equally in that Garden of Eden and take care of everything that God had created, manage everything that God had created, and dominate everything that was on earth through creation at the time. So hence I am saying, with the life that we live, then the progression and so on and so forth, we see systems that are now coming in, being put in place, that are further separating the man and the woman. There is a small thing that I want to share with the audience right now. And my production team is here. And my cameraman was the one who actually sent me this message to say, if you were to live on earth with a man and a bear, who would you choose to live with? And I said, I would choose to live with a man. And he was like, yo, most people are saying they would rather live with the bear. And it didn't make sense to me. But then I thought about it and I looked at the things that are being said on social media, and it's still confirmed to say there is a huge division between women and men. And if us as women, we feel like would rather go and live in the wild with bears. It really says something very strong. It sends a very strong message to us to say, what have we become as humanity? So it's one of the main things that the book addresses, humanity. So when you look at humanity, it's not simply Ubuntu, as we call it maybe here in South Africa, to say it is Ubuntu. When you look at the word humanity, it means love and kindness. So if it means love and kindness, it means that those are the likeness, the characters of God in his own image. That's how he created us, to love one another and to be kind to one another. And the word that actually describes that in full, it is in Latin. It is the word that is written in Latin. But when you put it into the English word as humanity, it simply means it is love and kindness. So the book is about us going back to the original plan of God, to rule, to subdue, and to dominate creation, not to dominate one another. It is said that even in the days that we are living in, as much as the systems that I'm talking about, as much as they try to address the issue of equality, maybe gender equality, that's how they put it. But you see like a reverse kind of thing where now women are in a higher power of some sort, even economically, and men are being abused. And we call it equality. But according to me, when you say equality, okay, let's say this is a scale, and there was a point where women felt like they were below the scale. And now we are talking about equality. We are trying to balance the things and say women are now on par with men. It should be like that. But if now we are saying it's equality and then the other side of the scale goes lower, it simply means we are not talking about equality in the manner that we should be addressing it. So those are the things that I think they came as a revelation at that time. And also with the organization, the Petahazo Foundation organization that I founded in 2016, we have actually recently started a program that we are doing. For now, we are doing it in church where I attend, simply because they gave us a venue last year when we did the event. So what we did with the event, it was an event where we said, as single mothers who are raising boy children, we are aware of the struggles. We are aware of the struggles from the mother's side. We are aware of the struggles from the children's side. Mostly with the mothers, it is the overwhelming responsibilities that we have as single parents. Everything is just looking at the one person to take care of the family. If you are working maybe 9 to 5, you still have to do some other things outside to like maybe have extra income. It means that you don't have enough time to spend with your kids, even if you want to. So we are left in a situation where these children are kind of growing themselves, or social media is assisting in that regard, because we do not have enough time with them. Okay, we won't even get to the part of absent fathers at the moment, because it is also actually a crisis and a pandemic, because when we look at the statistics, over 60% of women are raising children alone in a household. So our issue as Petahazo Foundation is that those mothers that are raising boys, it means that there are no male figures in the family to lead these boys in a manner that a boy should maybe handle himself, in terms of discipline, in terms of mentoring, coaching, and other things. So what we did with this event, we were saying, okay, how do we then bridge the communication line? Because if I may speak from experience, there are times where I have my own problems. I have my own stresses. Maybe finances are not coming together. maybe I'm having a problem with the business, and maybe other mothers who are working will say there's not enough income coming from the employer and things like that. Then you have to go tap out into other things. You make perfumes, you make this, you make that, just so that you can actually make ends meet. But then the stress that comes with that, it means you're not, like I said before, you're not able to cater for the emotional and the mental well-being of your children. And then now, another thing that I picked up is that there are times when these kids that we are raising are actually having their own challenges. It could be at school, it could be in the neighborhoods where they live, it could be with friends, any other challenge that they might have as they grow up. It's difficult for them to actually come to us because these people can sense when we are not okay, they can sense that we are not okay. If we are not well, they can see that we are not well. So now we are sitting with a situation where none of us are actually talking, because I am concerned that if I say this to him, if I say I don't have enough money, he's not gonna he's gonna feel somehow about it. He might not even maybe say I need money for something at school, simply because he knows that I will not afford it. And this brings me to the incident that actually happened sometime during the course of the week, where the teacher took a video clip of a small boy, I think he's about 7 or 8, in a classroom. And in this video clip, other kids were having a pie and juice. And the teacher is busy taking a video of all these kids. And there's one child in that class who's not having a pie and a juice. And she goes and circulates this clip. Now, the issue is, if this child didn't bring in money from home to pay for they called it a fundraising initiative for the school. But if the parents or the mother, and apparently the child is being brought up by a grandmother, if the grandmother cannot afford to give the child 40 rand to go and buy juice and a pie at school, it simply means that they are not making enough in the family. But for the teacher to take that very experience and broadcast it to the world, that is trauma in itself. And I remember I even commented on some of the people that were posting to say, if we do this as teachers that are supposed to be looking at these children, already we are condemning these children, because that experience is going to live with that boy for the rest of his life. He will never forget that experience. That was humiliation. That was trauma. And poverty on its own, it is trauma. It distorts the way you look at yourself, the way you handle yourself, because you feel like you don't belong or something like that. So, but that was in passing. So the main thing that I wanted to bring to this conversation is just to say, we just need to go back to the basics. We need to remember who we are. First, in God, we need to remember who we are as the image and people who are created in the likeness of God. So maybe another element that I can bring in as we close, because this is going to be a very short podcast. I would like to address mothers. I always address mothers because I am a humanitarian before I am a mother, before I am a founder of an organization that deals with boys. I am a humanitarian. And if we fail to practice the humanity in us, we are failing the world in total. And as women, we have been given power. And unfortunately, these days, we see this power being misplaced in how we handle ourselves, in how we handle our partners, in how we handle the husbands in our lives. You know, there's so much, even this week, that has been coming to my mind, to my focus, another thing when I talk about the husband, there's another lady who took a few pictures of herself and the husband. I believe that's the husband because she said it's the husband. Now that she's busy taking pictures and she posts them to the socials to say, I am taking my unemployed husband to dinner. And I'm asking myself, was the unemployed necessary? If you're doing this out of love for your husband, why does the unemployed come in? Because now it simply means you're attaching the humiliation part to him. You don't know how he's feeling about his unemployment. Why would you then go and publish it to the world that this man is not employed? So my plea is that women, we need to do better. We have been given power, so much power. From the Garden of Eden, we see that already we had power because if the serpent knew that if God knew that women had power, the serpent came because he knew that the woman has power. And the only reason why he went for the woman was because he knew if I defeat the woman, I'm gonna defeat the man. Because it means that whatever the woman shared with the husband willingly accepted, even though he knew the instruction, but he willingly accepted to say, okay, my wife is offering me this. It looks delicious. Let me eat. But unfortunately, that was the downfall for us as humankind. So in a nutshell, the book title is called The Mystery of Who We Are, because I think we also can identify and agree that we are indeed a mystery as humankind. We are indeed a mystery because we don't know where we come from. Some people say we come from the baboons. Some say we come from space. Some say a whole lot of things. So from there, you can actually tell that we are indeed a mystery. As much as we cannot explain God, God himself is a mystery. So the title of the book is The Mystery of Who We Are, the Image of God. So it talks a whole lot more than about our identity. It talks about how trauma affects us on the soul level. And it also explains the difference between the soul and the spirit, because it is not one thing. When you read the book of 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 23, it says there that you need to preserve your body blameless. It's the body, the soul, and the spirit. It says that those three need to remain blameless until the coming of Christ. So it simply means that when Christ comes, he is coming for the full human being, not a human being who is distorted in soul, not a human being who is distorted in spirit, but the soul, the spirit, and the body have to be aligned. So there is a lot really that it can be found in the book. And then the issues of how then you align yourself in terms of aligning with God as the Trinity that we are. And also the issue of how we take care of our mental health, how we take care of our emotional health. And it also talks about things that are probably right now in spaces that we live in, things like technology that is being introduced, how it is going to impact us as human beings, how it is going to distort our humanity. Because once you take a clip and a chip or whatever that they call it, and you put it in your brain, obviously there are things that are not going to function in your brain at the biological level, or as at the natural level that God has created us. So those are the things that I have jotted out to bring to the awareness that people need to come to the awakening. In simple terms, it says people need to come to the awakening of who they are. I know right now there's a lot of talk as like a fashion or a hype type of thing of people coming to the spiritual awakening, but there is more to that than we can actually imagine. A lot of people are talking about the consciousness, but what is it actually? The consciousness, what is it actually? So when you go deeper into the book, you'll even realize that consciousness simply means the soul of a person. You understand? So those are the things that I would really encourage when the book does come out. We will be sharing platforms where you can get the book, shops where you can get the book, and you'll definitely know about the launch that we will be having for the book. So keep up to date, keep up with the with watching the show, and just continue staying on the podcast. And if you have not subscribed, please subscribe so that when the book comes out, you are definitely the first one to know. So the title of the book, once again, it is The Image of God, the mystery of who we are. So from me, once again, I would like to acknowledge Mana Lodge. Thank them so much for allowing us to use their venue to shoot this podcast and to encourage people to come through. It could be maybe for a night during the week. You want to just come and relax, you're welcome to do that. You want to book a baby shower event, a wedding, a birthday party. They've got different venues that can cater for any number of people. So please do follow even Mana Lodge on the socials and get to know of many other events that they host at the venue. From me, Tibelo Msese, as your host, thank you so much for watching this podcast. See you next time. God bless you.